let's talk about how to beat writer's block, specifically the problem of, hey, what should I write about? Or what should I talk about? Or what should I go live about? Or what should I put up in my video today? All of those topics are something that all of us struggle with. This is coming from a conversation, a comment that someone made just today that I processed that said, hey, I write this email every week, but I sometimes spend hours trying to figure out what I should say. So, hey, what should I say is one of the biggest problems with those of us who produce content on a regular basis. And then we get this other part of writer's block, which is, hey, what should I say about it? Okay. So both pieces are important. What should I say? The topic, and what should I say about it? Both of those things are incredibly important. So let me take you through the specific set of tools that I use to do this. So the first thing is that I keep a list of possible topics. Those of you who followed me and watched other videos in the past know that I have this always within arm's reach, that there are pages and pages and pages of ideas that every time I run into an idea, I write it on this. And this is just a small portion. I got a whole book over there of pages like this. And when I run into that writer's block of, I don't know what I'm going to talk about today, I simply go through that, and oftentimes I can find something. And so the key here is to always be looking for new ideas that you can write about, talk about, do videos about, whatever, as you go along. So this can happen on calls. It can happen in training. So you're taking a program from somebody else. You can see something in there. It can come from questions that get asked, comments in your social media. It can come from social media, seeing other people's social media posts. It can come from email. Oftentimes I get ideas from being on other people's email lists. So they're sending something out. I see that. I don't copy what they do. I just go, oh, there's something I want to talk about. And off I go. And then examples, real world examples that I see out there. So here's this sign that's stupidly placed. Here's this packaging that I see in the store. All those things create ideas that I can then use as concepts. And they, excuse me, then make sure you write those ideas down. Because here's the problem. Oh, I'll remember that. No, you don't. Can I teach you a little trick that I use? I text them to myself. So on my phone, I have a text channel that is Don sending texts to Don. And I send ideas in, and sometimes I reply back, what did you mean by that? And then I have this whole conversation that goes back and forth with that, because I find that when I put something in there, I clearly understood what it meant at the moment, but then later on, 4 days later, I can see it and I go, I don't understand. But literally writing, what did I mean by that? Causes my brain to go back and say, oh, what did he mean by that? And it figures it out. So yes, I am one of those insane people who actually has conversations with myself. Next, there's a site called feedly.com. So this is going back into the olden days of the internet when we used to use RSS feeds all the time. And this particular site is a place where you can put in a whole bunch of different places. So here we go. I'm just going to click over here on online marketing. These are articles and things coming from chief marketing technologists, from We Are Express Writers, TikTok of the year, all these different places, social media today, that are coming in with the content that they have published that day, all flows into this. I've got it sorted: list building, mindset, online marketing, SEO, my financial planning stuff, all comes into this. And so I can just look and I can see, hey, here's what other people have posted about today. And that gives me a lot of ideas that helps me. Okay. Next, there's the concept of keyword tools. So there's lots of different keyword tools out there that you can use. A lot of them are SEO kinds of tools and things like that. I'm going to share one with you here that I like a lot for idea generation. And it's this. It's vidIQ, VIDIQ. And they have this thing called a keyword inspector where you can put in ideas and it'll tell you how many times that particular term and related terms terms have been searched for on YouTube. So not on the search engines, on YouTube, where people are actually looking for content. And so if you remember, this was originally called, this video is called Beat Writer's Block. Well, I originally called it Overcome Writer's Block. But how did I get to that? Well, I came down to this, how to beat. So writer's block got 1,277 searches, but how to beat writer's block is 1,706. How to overcome writer's block is 1,487. So actually, I'm getting data here that is telling me, hey, this one is 200, 300 searches more, 200 searches more. Can't do math on the fly. Than that one. And so it will tend to do better. And then you just scroll down here and it's like writer's block cure, writing tips, how to combat. And so this particular, you can put 5 different terms in here. And when you do that, what it does is right at the top, it tells you that particular term, but then it puts that other related keywords that related to that in the feed down here. And so this gives me lots of ideas on what I want to say and how I want to say it. And it helps me to come up with the titles, helps me do all kinds of things. We'll talk more about this at another time. Okay. So that's keyword tools. Next, I like to just go in and put the topic into YouTube that I want to talk about that day. Why? Because what that'll do is it gives me a whole bunch of different ideas on that subject. I can see how other people have handled it. I can see the titles. I can see their thumbnails that they've used. And that oftentimes triggers different paths that I can take this down. It also helps a lot in identifying the hook. What's that thing that gets people interested right from the very beginning and draws through the rest of it. So this YouTube strategy, just putting it into YouTube and then searching on that term in YouTube, then looking at the results that come out, what that does is it helps not only come up with ideas, but it helps with the other part of what to say about that particular idea, which is this. Hey, what to say about them? Well, that YouTube tip I just gave you is number 1. So let me give you several things that I like to use in this process. Number 1, I like to look at, hey, what's the number 1 thing that people don't understand about this particular topic? Oftentimes, just talking about that number 1 thing that people don't understand is an entire blog post. It's an entire article. It's an entire YouTube video, whatever that is, because there's so many things that people don't understand. And you see those errors happening over and over again. And so you just tell them what they should understand. Next, hey, how can I hook them on that number 1 thing they don't understand? And to get them to click on it, to get them to watch it, to get them to continue watching it. Another great way to do this, just walk them through step by step how to do something. So how to beat writer's block? Well, you got to deal with 2 parts, the what to say and how to say it. And so what I'm doing is I'm walking you through in this video, step by step. Here are the tools that I use to solve that problem. Okay, so this is a step-by-step video. Actually, it's not quite as much of an example of that as it is what something I'm going to show you in just a second. Next, biggest mistakes that people make in that area. You can always write this kind of post. Next, hey, what's my favorite method for dealing with this problem? This video is that. It's a combination of favorite method and favorite tool. These are the things that I do when I am dealing with my own personal writer's block. Favorite method, favorite tool. Next, what do you teach about it? So if you're a coach or a speaker, if you create courses, what do you teach about that stuff? You can always riff off onto that. Another one is an illustrative story. I think I pronounced that correctly. So how can you illustrate this particular topic through a story? Just be careful that whenever you start a video with a story, you tend to lose viewers very quickly in that video. And so start with a hook and then drop into the story a little bit later on. And as I said, search for that topic in YouTube and watch then the first 30 seconds of 5 different videos. What that will do is that it will give you ideas on how other people have handled this topic. And by the way, you can always copy their video titles so that you know copyright law does not cover titles. There's a reason for that because there's only a certain number of words and titles tend to be short. And so you can copy other people's titles legally. And so you can copy other people's titles and you can also copy their hook. Now, I don't recommend you copy what they say, but you're good enough. I know you. That's why you're watching me, is that you're good enough to be able to do this. You can take somebody else's title and somebody else's hook and turn it into your own material very, very quickly and very, very easily. And so all I'm trying to deal with here is how you deal with that space between your head when that space feels empty and there's nothing there to talk about. And that's a great time to go grab somebody else's title, grab somebody else's hook, and go with it. Another hint in all this, start in the middle of it. You don't have to start all the way at the very beginning, and make sure you tell them what you're going to tell them right at the beginning of the video, because that first 10 seconds is absolutely vital. There you go. That's how you solve the problem of you can't figure out what to say. I just gave you a whole bunch of ideas. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. This is Don Crowther saying, just go do this stuff.